What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game. Man, you already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to settle in the life that has been faithfully set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great, and even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So hey, look, the title of this video is going to be on the fact that oftentimes I think a lot of people don't understand how things are measured by the energetic frequency of the infinity loop, meaning that people use lower vibrational energy to be able to create new systems that award higher vibrational energy. But the more you feed your energy to one or the other, the more you give it the strength to succeed. So it's really truly up to you to be able to pull yourself out of energy that doesn't help you grow to be able to excel. But again, there are a lot of people in the world who use lower vibrational energy to survive and make money off of. So if they do not have that system to feed off of, then those people have to either drop like flies or go within. And trust me, when people are having to get to the point where they really know who they are, that's a lot harder than people think it is. You know what I'm saying? So understanding and realizing that energy is an energetic loop. You know what I'm saying? It's what you feed your mind to. You know what I'm saying? What you give your energy to will survive and thrive, and what you don't will die and don't grow. You know? So if you look at it on a spectrum like this, look at it in a way how, like, a lot of us like music, right? A lot of us are into entertainment, right? Those people oftentimes take lower vibrational things and portray it in such a way where it's the thing to do, that the people that are still actually feeding their energy to it starts to gain more traction and it starts to become popular. Like for my era people, drugs and drinking was one of the things that doesn't let you have a clear mind. But if you have people that are high up on the totem pole with money and success and they're idolized, they feel good about who they are, and they promote things from the lower version of who they used to be, think of how much income that generates. You know what I'm saying? And when you start to find out that people are not falling for those things, or they're waking up to the reality of who they are, oftentimes those people who really don't know themselves for real go into a state of, now I have to do whatever is necessary to continue to suck the energy from that energy field. Otherwise, I won't be able to have all the things that people adore me and admire me for. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it like in a way where, you know what I'm saying, it's really really up to you. Like for instance, I just had a little, not a debate, because I said what I said and that person stopped talking, but I seen something on my threads that was coming from someone who was like, oh, people got, you know what I'm saying, 2 years to get off Section 8, you know, that's it, that's all, da da da. And I put, are you mad that people are on Section 8 because of the higher rent costs? Why is it that we always blame each other instead of blaming people that make rent so high to where people who are on Section 8 take that low rent and they take their other extra money and they live life? It's only going to be one you. But these systems and this economy is going to keep elevating. You know what I'm saying? And once we pass away and leave the earth, they won't care about that. So imagine being able to live life on earth by finding out a way to outsmart the system. You know what I'm saying? But listen, let me tell you something. When people are aware and they know that, they tend to trick you and manipulate you into thinking a certain way about them. And then when they are able to be in a certain position, they come in and take it all away. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to dibble and dab in politics because they're too afraid and they're scared. But me, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I notice that the money that has been fueling the economy is really based off of people in a low vibrational mindset. They were able to make money off of that to be able to supply them with the life they feel they deserve and then deprive us of ours. So as you raise yourself up higher on the bar, you have to be able to, you know what I'm saying, not be attached to those things, because those are the very things that they'll use to try to keep you attached. But when they realize that you've woken up to what's really going on, they try everything in their power they can to try to keep you to be silent, right? So now that Trump is in office, this man is stripping all of the things that have been invented and created by someone who was making money off of our mental state, right? So if I strip them of the things that we created for them to have, they'll be forced to go into a state of mind that we were always making money off of, and we improve the system to continue make money off of these people who do not know how to elevate. If you want the economy to rise, why not teach the people how to rise with it instead of taking advantage of the people who are on the low vibrational totem pole? You know what I'm saying? Listen, it has been going on for so long, because you got to think of the people who don't know who they are. The only satisfaction they get is by being in positions of power or having money or being successful. Everybody likes them when they're in that type of position. But when they see that it's fading and it's dropping, and they really might have to go within, or they really might get close to where everything they built their foundation on is not succeeding, they get afraid. So what does that do? That makes them do corrupt things, like try to make sure that they, you know what I'm saying, put the injustice of someone else, you know what I'm saying, without it actually being discovered, because they won't say nothing, because it's us against them. Let's make them think that they ain't worth shit. They ain't about nothing. Nobody cares about them. You know what I'm saying? So when we do go in and we throw our injustices and corrupt ways against them, they won't speak out, because don't nobody like them anyway. That's crazy. But it's the reality of what is really going on. It is the ability to use lower vibrational mindsets, strip the things that we put out there for them to use, take it back, put them in a lower vibrational mindset to where now we make new systems to keep them still in structured way of thinking, so that we can continue to grow in what we've always been doing. But when you decide to wake up to who you truly are, you start to pay attention to the fact that if I decide to allow you to guilt trip me with that, resources and all that, you know what I'm saying, you will fall right back into the trap. These people are happy, so they portray, when people are feeding into their energy. But when they are by themselves, it is a complete energetic downdrop, and they are miserable and completely unhappy. You know what I'm saying? But they try their best to not allow people to see that. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, you know, a vampire succeeds at night, but when that daylight sign comes up, they have to go back to, you know what I'm saying, the person they truly are, and that's what they don't like. So they try to really operate in the dark, you know what I'm saying? But again, when it comes down to people understanding and realizing that the energetic loop that has been going on for so long has people who are high on the totem pole who were too afraid to lose what they have and did corrupt things intentionally on purpose, you know what I'm saying? They're falling down, and they're getting desperate, and they're trying to find whatever source they can pull away from. But again, I'm one of those people. I'm not speaking from, you know what I'm saying, just me and who I am. I'm speaking for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that has figured out a way how to live and outbeat the system. And they only got mad because we are smarter at doing it than they are. And especially people that they've been using, you know what I'm saying, to keep them in a certain level of understanding to where they make money off of it. Now that these people are waking up and they're able to see what's really going on, that means we have beat them at their own game. So the only way that we know how to, you know what I'm saying, make them think that they didn't beat us is to take everything from them. You know what I'm saying? To put them back in that mindset. And once they do that, we'll suck all the energy out of that mindset to continue to fuel You know what I'm saying? The way we choose to live. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the president of the United States is a convicted criminal, and he did not serve any jail time, and he's still the president and successful. Meanwhile, he's sitting on his high horse, stripping the very things from us that we have been set to live off of to be able to live. Like, if y'all don't see that, I don't know what else to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? And we fell victim to thinking he was going to help us because he had money, that we appointed this man to be a president. I didn't vote, so I didn't appoint him to be a president, and I'm not judging him or putting him down. This is not, any type of way of that, because again, politics get real. It's just the ability to wake people up to what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? These systems were designed by someone who knew exactly what they were doing and how to make money off of us. You know what I'm saying? And keep us in a certain mindset. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's strip it from them. The more people wake up, therefore, we'll create new ways to keep them structurally programmed in a certain mindset, which means prisons, you know what I'm saying, welfare, all those things, Section 8, all that, you feel me, will be stripped and cut away because people have woken up, but they'll create something new that'll help keep us trapped. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at how all of it is a trap. If you go to school to try to get a higher education, to be able to have the nice house and a nice car, you got to get a loan. The loan has to be paid back. If you don't get the job after you graduate, now you're stuck with a student loan and you're trying to survive. Once you get a job, if you still own that loan, you're going to get your check garnished. And if you're not making enough to survive and live in your house, there goes another setup. Like, listen, there are people in the world who have been structurally designing it like that on purpose, so that it keeps people in a certain mindset. But when you are someone that understands how people high on the totem pole siphon energy from people on the low totem pole to be able to become successful, you learn what you need to subtract yourself from to be able to get into a state of mind where you can be able to survive and your basic necessities won't be jeopardized. Because when that happens, that's usually what catapults people into a lower mindset. You know what I'm saying? When you don't have nowhere to stay and you got kids, you start jeopardizing and doing things out of character because you're in a certain mindset. Like, I gotta have this. You know what I'm saying? But I promise you, there are resources out there that you can use. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be able to understand that in order for you to defy the odds, you're gonna have to be okay with breaking barriers down. And that's what they don't want you to do. So anytime they have pinpointed you out and they know for a fact that you're one of the ones that has woken up, every time you go somewhere, everything you do, there is somebody around that area that has taken orders from someone high up on the spiritual totem pole. That means that in order for us to keep making money, make sure you suck all the energy out of this person who don't got more than you. You know what I'm saying? So that this can keep surviving. This can keep growing. So imagine that when you're outside and you're doing something, how people try to come around and suck your energy. How mysterious things start happening when you are doing things to speak out or elevate human consciousness. You know what I'm saying? They will do whatever is necessary to strip you of being yourself because they know that you being yourself is what's helping you wake up to your consciousness. So you ever wonder how, like, people who are successful and celebrities, like a lot of people that are rappers, you know what I'm saying, in my era, they start making a whole bunch of money, right? But they'll take something from their past and try to put it on them. And if they don't know how to balance the two, they'll end up going back doing something from their past, cuts off their whole career. But on an energetic frequency type of way, it means it cuts off their source to be able to influence the people to follow their direction. You know what I'm saying? So you have to outsmart that. There are going to be people around that solely don't like you because they have been working for this spiritual person, that in order for them to keep living the way they want to live, they have to make sure they seek out the people that helps elevate that. Meaning, you know what I'm saying? Downsize that person. Don't make that person grow. Don't mess up anything they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Interrupt everything that they are. Strip them of everything. Take everything away from them. You know what I'm saying? To make them feel like the lowest scum on the planet so that we can siphon their energy to keep surviving in this world. But just imagine when you know how to outsmart the energy that has been siphoning yours for so long. You know what I'm saying? You become elevated in your own way. You know what I'm saying? But again, the way life operates is there's always going to be people who are negative, and there always are going to be people who are positive. But when you grow in who you are because you're on a certain assignment, you'll build up your spirit high enough to where their tricks and tactics that used to work in the past will no longer be effective. If people actually stop and pause for a minute and were able to see that if you make things to where people can afford them and everybody can be able to live on the planet, it wouldn't be no issues. You know what I'm saying? But you got to think how much power structure is in control. I seen one lady get fired from her job because student lunch, you got to pay for it. And she gave student lunch free to the people who didn't have money to pay for it. And she got fired. Listen, that student lunch may be the only meal that these kids eat all day. I think she's not wrong for doing that. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't care about the risk of losing her job to be able to feed kids that might be going hungry when they get home. You know what I'm saying? That means that she probably just found another profession. She probably just found something else to do. Okay, y'all not cool with me doing that? All right, cool. I'm going to just hop into something else. I'm not afraid. But again, people are afraid of the risks that come with being able to tell the truth. Like a lot of people who are successful to where their basic needs are met, they will never be able to actually tell people that they're siphoning their energy from the reality of how to elevate and grow. To, you know what I'm saying, elevate your energy to where your basic needs of survival are taken care of without the risk of possibly someone trying to take you out because they're jealous. They're motivated by hate. They're motivated by greed. Their spirit has answered to someone that has stole their soul. So their whole soul intention is to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, they seek out certain people to be able to siphon their energy. And that is probably why a lot of people that are waking up to who they are, you're going to have to get used to having enemies. You're going to have to get used to people not liking you because there are so many people that are not themselves. They're answering to someone spiritually more powerful than them. And they signed up to adjust to taking a life, you know what I'm saying, that they feel they deserve to be glorified in exchange for not revealing the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, but it's the reality of the world for real. You know what I'm saying? And it's how a lot of the world operates. But see, what happens is when that energy starts to get not as fulfilling as it used to be in the past, the people high on the totem pole start to use corruption. They start to do things that are illegal. They start to break laws and break rules. You feel me? To be able to sustain that lifestyle because that is what made them feel good. And it goes on both ends. People in power do it. They just have a harder time getting caught because people are paid off to look the other way. And then people on the low vibrational totem pole, like people from my culture, we do it too. But oftentimes they've been siphoning that energy because they know. So we're going to be the ones that are targeted. And that is how you put the people in the prisons. That's how you put the people in, you know what I'm saying, power constructed environments. You know what I'm saying? People make them up because they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But again, if you're someone that can naturally vibrate at an energy frequency where you don't have to, you know what I'm saying, look down on nobody. You don't have to siphon energy from nobody doing less than you to be able to, you know what I'm saying, gravitate into a space where you're content peacefully. Listen, they fear that. They don't like that. You know what I'm saying? It's people, they're pulling out all types of tricks to make sure that you don't keep talking, you don't succeed, you don't grow, because people are having a hard time understanding that they probably been tricked the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Not really understanding the reality of what's real, because their reality they've been living on is fake. And not all people operate in that way, but look at it like some of the successful celebrities who they put down certain things. Like, you know what I'm saying? They stop smoking, they stop drinking, or they don't have toxicness in their relationship. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these media networks don't even want to work with them. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that's what's used to draw the crowd in. Say you got a healthy marriage for 45 years or whatever. A lot of people won't do interviews with those people because they want to just pull something bad about it out of that. When it's not like that. These people have been happily married for a long time. Two people can actually get along. People can actually work together and get along once those barriers are broken. You know what I'm saying? But that means that you have to work on getting rid of your ego, getting rid of your pride, getting rid of your need to, you know what I'm saying, try to succeed in a world where you have to demean other people. You know what I'm saying? And again, listen, the spirit is so tricky that they will play nice in your face. You know what I'm saying? But they're really siphoning your energy. And when you leave, anytime they do something wrong, don't expect an apology. Don't expect them to, say, hey, I did this, I did that, because they were sent on an assignment. And the assignment was to attach to this energetic frequency that we can manipulate and trip out. And so we'll siphon their energy to use to glorify us. And it happens all over the world, in everybody. You know what I'm saying? But if you're awoke to what's really going on, it's harder for people to spiritually attack you if you know who you are. And that takes a process. And the steps included in that oftentimes means that you got to stop humping random people bareback. You got to stop drinking to become clear-headed. You got to take out anybody that disrupts your peace and is disrespectful. And again, with certain attachments, that's hard for people to do. So you never really truly get back to your own state to be able to see clearly of what's going on. Because usually you have taken on the spirit of somebody else that's toxic, that's stuck to you, and you end up thinking what they think. So your whole mission becomes, now I have to hunt out people that have the ability to use their own mind, because the more they use their own mind, the more this system we've been banking off of fades. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm telling you right now, it comes to a point in life where you just have to have the ability to stand on what you mean and mean what you say. And that energetic frequency, the more work you do, tends to explain itself. You know what I'm saying? And the more that happens, it tends to wake everybody up unexplained. But again, they'll try everything they can to take that from you before you reach to that spot. And that work is done by you. It's not done by anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And because a lot of people are waking up to what's really going on, some people are just having a hard time. And then the people that have been waiting on this for so long, you know what I'm saying, they are so ecstatic that a lot of people in the world have been woke and they know what's going on. They were just threatened by fear, too afraid to speak up. You know what I'm saying? Now we got somebody that's not afraid to speak up. Listen, it's only a matter of time before, you know what I'm saying, everything is at an equal balance to where people can have the ability to live life, because it's only going to be one you and not be taken out by the system. Listen, this land was all bare before we got here. People started using it to make money off of it, and then it puts certain humans in a certain type of struggle mentality to where they spend their whole life doing what the structure tells them to do to only be unhappy. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much money you make. If you complain about people who are living, it's because you're unhappy. You may pay your rent. You may have a 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. You may live good, but you got to do this every day. You're unhappy. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why you tend to kick people down who may have a better life than you, because you are unhappy, for real. And you just don't want to admit that. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you, oftentimes there are a few people that are not unhappy, that are living good lifestyles. But a lot of people have always been unhappy, and they have everything in the world. You know what I'm saying? And it's because they're truly not freely doing what they want. You know what I'm saying? They're staying structurally programmed to what's been told of them. Listen, when you're someone that has finally found out that, I had a lot of money in the world too, but I wasn't happy still. When that money was gone, I went right and shrink back down to my original size and mentality. You know what I'm saying? And it started to make me open up to something off. Something's not making no sense. You know what I'm saying? But again, you being able to speak about it contradicts everything that they thought they knew. And that's why they try everything they can to keep you quiet. And that's when you got to really tap into yourself and do what benefits you, to be able to tap into the Holy Spirit, to be able to give the guidance and advice that at some point, you know what I'm saying, will wake people up. So people that are snatching certain things away that they put out there for us to live off of, you'll figure out how to elevate so it won't put you in a certain mental state. The only time people get in a mental state is when things are taken away that they relied on and they don't know how to elevate, but the economy is. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. If you don't know, you about to find out. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.